How much time do I have left? Because I know it's not that long. So I Googled it. Well, know what life expectancy is for someone with bipolar? 67 years old. That's the average age. Probably younger for most. And in this podcast, we're going to show you why. We're going to talk about why and how can we prevent this and how can we start doing something about this where that fucking statistic no longer exists. Because there is one factor that does help here, and that's you can do something about it. And we can change that life expectancy, because if I don't, I only have 21 more years on this planet. So come on out and check out today's episode of the Mental Mobility Podcast, episode number 147. We're going to talk about this. We're going to talk about metabolic syndrome. We're going to talk about everything that rolls around all of these thoughts that I've been having these past couple weeks. So come on out, check it out, and I'll see you guys in a second. What's going on, everyone? Welcome back to the Mental Mobility Podcast, episode number 147. We're going to talk about bipolar and why people die early. I know this is a sensitive topic. I know this may even get flagged. I know this may not. I did a TikTok video on this and it got taken away really fast and I had to appeal it because people don't like to talk about death. I don't fucking know why. They try to avoid the fact that it's real, that people think about it, that people think about suicide, that people think about self-harm, but it's a fucking fact. And people are affected by this, but not only that, you're not giving them things to look at. You're not giving them resources to research themselves on these topics. Instead, we're going to flag it and we're going to ignore it and we're going to pretend people don't fucking do it. People do it. And if you're listening to this podcast right now, you may have thought about it. You may have thoughts of it, and that's fine, and it's okay. And I hope that you're doing okay, right? If you are at that point, reach out. If you're at that point of like, fucking, I'm reach out, right? There's 1,000 resources you can move to. There's 1,000 resources you can go to. There's 1,000 people you can talk to, even though you feel like you can't. You can. And I want you to know that first things first. I want you to know that you can reach out to someone and talk to someone. It could be anyone, fucking anyone. Because Google and even YouTube and TikTok and Instagram, they like to hide it. They don't like, oh, it's sensitive content. Oh, it doesn't meet our guidelines. Yeah, it's because you're scared to talk about it. Right? We want to hide it from everyone. We're not hiding it here. Okay? It happens. It happens to me multiple times in my life. And a bipolar statistic is that at least one time in your life, someone with bipolar will attempt suicide. Only one time. Which doesn't count for the thousands of times I've thought about it, which doesn't count for the multiple times that I've tried it. But I'm still here because I use the resources to become better. I use the resources to feel good. I use the skills to try to become a little bit more mentally stable than I am. And that's why I make this podcast, is because I don't want to see other people suffer. And fucking right now, it's a very tough time for lots of people. So thank you guys for coming out. I did not want to leave that in the dirt. I want to make sure we opened with that first, letting you know. I could even stop the podcast now because like I want you to know that if you're feeling like shit, reach out to someone or start doing something or even just DM me or message me, whatever, because it's going to help. I'm getting all like out of breath and like all choked up right now because it fucking means a lot. Because I know what it feels like to just not fucking want to exist anymore. Even if you think there is no more point in, there always is a point in. There always is a reason for you to be here. There always is a reason for you to move on. It may not seem so at the time. It may not seem so in the moment. And I know that we talk about being in the moment all the time. And that's a skill, but sometimes we have to realize that's how we're feeling, and it's gonna move away. So the skill there is to ride the wave. Right? It's going to get high. It's going to get high. But at the same time, that thought is going to go low. It's going to go away. Right? Find someone's hand to hold. Find someone's ear to grab. Write something down. Do something. Get away from things. Get off substances. Drugs, alcohol. Get off it. Stop self-medicating. I did it all. I thought that was my answer. Just go talk to someone. Please go talk to someone. It's a really sensitive topic. I know it is, but I'm not scared to talk about it, So that's why I'm here. But to change fucking here. Let's just change the format really fast and completely go from that into this. And today we're gonna go into the memes of the week. So memes, that was a weird transition for sure. Like to go from that to like memes of the week, that didn't make any sense, but I really didn't know where else to go from that, right? I just know that memes of the week is next. Here's the first one. This one is from Mental Health CEO. I definitely follow this one on Instagram and check out the stuff they have. This one is passive suicide. What is it? What is passive suicide? A lot of editing this week. It's the desire to die without having a plan, with no intentions to put thoughts into physical actions. Passive suicide examples. I hope someone crashes into my car. I'm going to cross the road without looking. I wish I was never born. I'm not wearing a seatbelt today. People who experience passive suicide may approach daily activities without a care for their well being, not worrying about their own safety. Even though someone does not have any intent to actively and immediately harm themselves, we should still take them seriously. Being passively suicidal is not any less painful as someone else who is actively suicidal. They still experience pain, heartbreak, and sense of hopelessness. Just because someone doesn't have a plan does not mean they are not at risk. It's still serious and should always be treated that way. If you are struggling, please talk to someone about your struggles. Recovery is possible. This is not your forever. I felt like this is a perfect one that opened up to exactly what we're talking about. You may or may not want to go into it, right? And really commit suicide. But this doesn't mean like you're not going to think about it. It doesn't mean you don't have thoughts. It doesn't mean you're not going to want to cross the street without looking. I've had that thought. When they read that, I was like, that's what I think about all the time. Like I'm just gonna fucking walk across the street and not give a shit. And hopefully someone takes my life. But then I go, I'm gonna be so unlucky that they're going to hit me and it's gonna be really hard hit. I'm still gonna survive. That's like where I went to. I went from the total wanting to not exist to like I'm gonna end up being alive anyway type thing, or I'm gonna go straight forward. I'm gonna fight this guy and hopefully he stabs me. But then they're gonna stab me in the wrong place, and I'm just gonna have 17 stab wounds with stitches, be in the hospital for 3 months, but I'm still gonna survive. That's kind of where I go. But it doesn't mean they may not attempt, right? They may not try. But it's always just a thought that can be just a call for help too. Because you want someone to be there. You don't want to be in that existence, and it does make sense to the topics we're just talking about. It's very very common to feel that, especially people with bipolar. It's just one of those things that it just goes into your mind. Your brain, my brain, is not wired the same way as a normal person that doesn't have it. We struggle with different things like taking on depressive thoughts or taking on stress. Stress is different in a person with bipolar than a normal person. We sway the thoughts into a different direction and or it affects us even more, which does cause a lot of problems. So when we get stressed out, to talk about more what we're going to talk about, actually, let me wait because we're going to talk more about that at the reasons for it at the end. So, sorry if it got weird, but I was hearing some feedback in the thing, and it was bothering me, so I just stopped everything and restarted it, and hopefully it's back in check here. But I was definitely talking about this one was going back to our passive suicide examples. I hope someone crashes into my car. It's little thoughts that we have that we may not think is a big deal, or especially if you listen to someone talk about that and not thinking, they're just joking or just thinking. No, it's a flag, right? It's a flag for everyone. Take a little bit of concern, if not a lot of bit of concern, especially if your friend is a depressed person or someone that you may think is bipolar or someone just maybe isn't having a great time in life right now. If they start giving you those warning signs of like, I want to disappear, I hope this happens, I'm just going to do something crazy and don't care, like almost hurting themselves on purpose, well, those are flags, right? Maybe you can be the brave person and start having talks or discussions or even just sit down and chat and text or whatever it is with your friend or family member and or seek professional help, because you can also go to a therapist to talk to the therapist about someone else in order to try to find more about it. Definitely educate yourself in that way in order to prevent ourselves from being another statistic, is all I'm trying to say. And I feel like this was a perfect meme to go to as we were going in there. This one is from Nicholas Megalis. I don't even know who that is, but he just popped up and it said, "No one has their shit together. Some of us are just better at pretending." And this is a nice one because a lot of us think people have their head straight. And I think we talked about this last time is the highlight film and the highlight reel of everyone's lives on social media, but everyone compares themselves to this next person or to this other person. And trust me, I do it all the time, right? Especially as a YouTuber and someone that is a content creator, you always compare yourself to what you can be. Right, or what you want to be, and you hold yourself to these standards of like, oh, I gotta be this person because this person is there, and this person looks so great, and this person looks so happy. And I'm sure there's a lot of people that fucking look at my stuff and like, oh, this guy is in great shape and he did it and he can. Yeah, but you don't know because sometimes we really are just pretending. A lot of times we are just lights, camera, action, go. Hey, what's up, everybody? Today's news is, and you just start faking the funk versus like what you really get out of me at times. Like, fuck this. Don't want to fucking be here right now. I don't want to do this, but I am doing it. And I'm a little bit, I would say, more authentic and more raw because I'm going to talk any way that I feel. If I feel like shit, I'm going to tell you I feel like shit. And if I feel good, I'm going to tell you I feel good. Right now, I feel good because the depressive state is over, right? Talk to me last week and the week before that. You even saw on the podcast, I was having a tough time. I was in the depression. I felt it lift, right? I felt the depression lift again. Now energy's starting to get back. If you can hear me rambling the entire time, do you get it? The voice is starting to not pause much. Now it's starting to go. And sometimes the shit I say does not make sense, which means guess what's popping up soon? Something else, right? It's not a depressive state. I'm more energetic. I do feel good, but a lot of times, if I don't, we can be pretending. So if you see someone and you compare yourself to someone else's page or person or anything, it could be in real life. Everyone has a story. That's all I can say. Everyone has a story. Not everyone has their shit together. No way possible. Everyone is lost. No one knows what they're doing. No one knows anything. Millionaires don't know anything. They don't know where they're going. They don't know what they're doing. Successful people, same thing. They don't know what they're doing. They just do. It's just a different type of trait. It's just a different type of setup, different angles, and different actual situations in life that make them there. So I'm not going to discredit them for working hard and finding ideas and taking chances. That's true. Well, a lot of people still, no matter where you look or what they have, do not have their shit together. So don't think that just because you don't feel good or you don't feel right, you don't feel like you're doing the right thing, that you're not any better than the next person. I hope that makes sense, because that's what I tell myself all the time when I compare myself to what other YouTuber is next to me and like, damn, why do they have so many more views? Why do they have so many? How can I get to, you get stuck into that rat race and now you're doing it for the wrong purpose. Right now, I'm not there to help people anymore. I'm there to become something rather than to give something. So for me, I'd rather, of course, you want to build and see success out of this, but at the same time, I'm doing it by giving. And then through this giving, I was going to say forgiving, doesn't make sense. Will something happen from it? And that's the road. That's the rules. This is one here from Fighting Through Mental Health, which is always a page I go into. Allow yourself to be proud of yourself and all the progress you've made, especially the progress that no one else has seen. And this actually goes back to what we just said in number 2, where the person that you claim to be successful or claim to have it all, they also have the moments and they have the stuff that you don't see. They do the work that you don't see. They're not going to put everything up on social media. They're not going to put everything up and tell everyone everything in their lives. A lot of owners of businesses, you don't see them worrying and doing numbers and making trips to the supermarket for toilet paper and going to the bank to have. You don't see these little things. You just think like, oh, they own a business. They do this. Other people do this for them. No, there's a lot that goes into it. There's a lot of things. And I feel like if you're in that position, give yourself credit for the little things that you do. And I can even just talk about surviving in life, right? And then surviving a depressive moment. Like we're here and we don't give ourselves credit for waking up. We don't give ourselves credit for getting out of bed and eating something in the morning and drinking water or going outside and walking the dogs. These are little things that you might be doing in your life that's routine that you don't even think about. And trust me, there's a lot of things that I do that I do not think about that count in life, like take care of my kids. Isn't that fucking weird? It's like my main goal in life is to be the greatest dad possible. That's my goal, right? That's my goal in life. What do you want to be? What is your goal? I want to be the best dad and make sure I grow up with my kids and raise my kids in an efficient way for them to have a great life. That's my fucking goal, right? And I'm doing it. And I do it every day by waking up early and doing stuff for them and getting my stuff done before they even get out of bed so I can spend time with them. But I don't say, good job, Pete. You're a great fucking dad. Instead, I say, what else can I do to make sure that they're better? What else? I didn't do anything today. I didn't do anything today. You know why I don't feel like I do anything today? Is because I'm so used to doing the same things over and over again that it's now automatic. And then when things become automatic and routine in your life, we don't look at it as something else. So now we don't feel gratified from that task. Yet, if you blank slated yourself and look at all the things you do normally, you'd be proud of the person you are. And that's what that meme was a great reminder of. Be proud of the person that you are. Be proud of the little things that you do because those little things count, even if you don't think they do. Did I have another one in here? I could save that for another time, and I think that was it. And that is all for the memes of the week. Let's talk about it. Let's talk about it. Why am I going to die in 21 years? Well, that's pretty simple. Well, considering the fact that there's a lot of factors for people with bipolar, they have something that can develop what's called metabolic syndrome, which is kind of like a okay, here we go. Let's read it, okay? Well, I don't know why I try to explain to you what it's right here in real life. Metabolic syndrome is a cluster of conditions that occur together, significantly increasing the risk of heart disease, stroke, and type 2 diabetes. These conditions include increased blood pressure, high blood sugar levels, excess body fat around the waist, and abnormal cholesterol and triglyceride levels. When it comes to an individual with bipolar disorder, the prevalence, I don't know what that means, of metabolic syndrome is notably higher than compared to the general population. This increased prevalence, again, is influenced by several factors, both directly and indirectly related to bipolar disorder and its management. So, factors contributing to high prevalence. What's prevalence, by the way? I'm not Googling. So, medication side effects, lifestyle factors, inflammatory processes, genetic biological factors. So, there's a bunch of things here that, how do I put this in layman's terms? You got to learn to take care of yourself. Okay. The reason you have to hold on, bugger. Prevalence. About 30 to 50% of people with bipolar disorder have metabolic syndrome, compared to less than one third of the general population. This means people with bipolar disorder are significantly more likely to develop metabolic syndrome. And that's where we talked about medication, lifestyle, mental health impact, risks, and managing the metabolic syndrome. What is metabolic syndrome? It's a collection of conditions that, when occurring together, significantly increase your risk of heart disease, stroke, and type 2 diabetes. Well, see, that's a fucking easier definition than the other one. And sometimes you guys use too many fucking big words. That's all I'm saying. Sometimes you use too many fucking big words. So, how the fuck is someone with mental health issues wants to read that shit? You're going to turn it off. You have ADHD. You think I can read that paragraph? No, I can't. It's very hard for me to comprehend what it is you just said. use the word prevalence. I might even be saying it wrong, nor do I care what it means. Here's a fact. Just say 30 to 50% of you motherfuckers are going to be in trouble. Hey, that's a fucking headline. Jesus Christ. So stupid when you read articles. Sometimes I really hate articles because they're written for dicks. Like you write it like you're trying to act smart. Why don't you write it so someone can understand it? Brr, so simple. No, I need to get 1,000 words on my blog so the SEO processes of Google make sure it picks it up and it starts to web crawl. Shut up. Shut your blog post up. Just tell us what it means. Here's what I'm going to tell you. I'm fucking nuts. That's for sure. Welcome to the brain of Pete Isip. So, with all that said, right, I hope I didn't lose you. With all that said, we're at a higher risk than everyone else. Okay, if you have bipolar, you're at a higher risk of all of those things you see on every pharmaceutical drug symptom possible. And it's going to cause a problem. But the number one reason the death rate is pretty high is definitely suicide risk. We are definitely a higher rate of committing to suicide, right? And really using that. And that statistic feeds into it, which is why I believe personally managing the disorder itself is very important. Getting down to the concrete base of what it is we have. We have bipolar disorder. What do I need to do to manage that first? Right? Is that getting blood work and then getting medication and seeing a psychiatrist who can give you the medication, see a therapist that you can talk to, a combination of both, and really getting that leveled out first. Right? Because a lot of people will ignore that and they'll say, oh, I need to work out more and I need to diet more and I need to eat better and eat healthier. It's great. But I personally believe that's step 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Number 1 is finding out how you manage your condition. If you believe that you are bipolar, have taken an online test, or someone may have fucking told you so, why not confirm it and see if you are? Why not get to the bottom of it? Let's cancel it out. Maybe you're not. Maybe you're just depressed, which is not fucking any better, but it's knowing, I think, is better than nothing. Like if I have something inside my body, I would rather know. And now let me take care of that first. And then from there, I can start moving in different directions. But once you get through that one and you lay it down, now, what are the skills I need to manage my bipolar? What are the skills that I need to manage my depression? And how do I get through that? To decrease and or stabilize our stress and how we handle it, and our emotions and how we handle them. Because those factors are a lot more intense than the normal person. The normal individual may spill a glass of milk and be like, oh, I spilled a glass of milk. And then us may be in that depressive state and we spill that glass of milk and it's the fucking end of the world. Like we killed the cow that milk came from. You know what I'm trying to say? We can take it much more intensely than another person, but that intensity can affect our cortisol levels and our hormones, which at the end of the day, guys, that's all we are. Right? Hormones affect our weight, our age, our life, our everything. So the more regular we are with our hormone levels, the better we're going to be. So really getting into that and having those skill management using TBT, CBT, I don't know, whatever it is you want to do. That's why I make it. That's why I make this stuff so you can try some different skills to use. And I'm definitely feel better at what I'm doing, especially when I get angry. I'm getting way better at it. I'm not great. Trust me, I'm not great. But I am getting better. And I'm going to give myself that credit that I'm doing better when I do get angry, when I want to punch someone in the fucking mouth or slice their throat. Like I definitely don't do that anymore. I step back and I take breaths and I say, it's going to pass, it's going to pass, it's going to pass. I know the intensity is going to pass. It may not feel like it when you're there, but it does. I did it yesterday. I was getting ramped up, man, and I don't know why. I don't understand why little things are bothering me. Sounds bother me. Intensities bother me. I feel very sensitive in different lights and sounds depending on where I'm at. I just closed my eyes and I just took 1,000 breaths until it started to go away. And instead of upsetting everyone inside my house, especially my wife, I just went to bed. Not angry, not mad, just even, right? Just even. I got to bed, no crazy reactions. I read a book to the kids. Phoenix fell asleep. My other daughter, Sage, wanted to go back downstairs. She wasn't tired. And I was like, okay, go. I'm going to bed. So that was a win for me. And going back to what we talked about, the meme, sometimes we don't give us credit where credit is due to ourselves because it's small. I gave myself credit for that one because I have skills and I do practice them and I do it. But we could move on to the next thing, which is, I believe, the most important in the second part. Working out. Physical health. Physical health will always help mental health. When you get into a structure and routine of moving, your body loves you. Your body was not made to do what it's doing now. This world is not made for what our bodies were made to do. We were made to hike and move and walk. And I'm not saying go on a hike. You don't need a fucking stick and shoes in a mountain. No, I mean, just get up and move. Right? So when I say hike, it's because I'm from Las Vegas now, and that's all people do. They say hike because they got mountains here. In Jersey, it's called walking the streets like a fucking bum. Do that, right? You can walk the streets, do some cardio, get a personal trainer, get into a program, do some beginner at-home exercises. I got a ton of them. If you need it, just let me know. Just let me know. I'll send them right to you. Boom. Send it. Here's fucking 35,000 workouts and files of workouts that I have just for you. Just to get you started. Just to get you moving. Because movement will start to negate all those other stuff like high blood pressure, hip to weight, obesity, right? More fat around the waistline, which usually leads to heart disease. There's other things that you can do. You can do those things to prevent the other ones from happening, and or at least let's level it out. We can make better, healthy food choices. Doesn't mean you gotta eat chicken, broccoli, water, motherfuckers. You don't gotta drink chicken, broccoli, water the entire time. Sometimes eat more fruit in your day. Drink some water instead of soda. We're doing it to ourselves because we don't want to change. And I understand. And it's not that hard. It's not that easy to just be like, hey, well, I'm going to go from soda to water. It's not easy. Because you are literally addicted. Not in a way where like the commercials like you addicted to sugar. Shut up. You just have a pattern of a way you do things. Right? This is what I drink in the morning. This is what and it's hard to change that habit. I drink coffee in the morning. So if I were not to drink coffee in the morning, guess what I'm going to say? If I end up getting tired at 3. Oh my God, I'm so tired. I didn't have coffee this morning. Yeah, it's because in my head, coffee is the reason I wake up. No, it's not. I wake up because I wake up. Right? But coffee has become a routine because it's comforting, because it smells good, because it triggers neurons in my brain and says, oh, this is what we do in the morning. And then when I don't have it, it's like, what did I do this morning? I didn't do anything. No, it's not that much caffeine to make that much of a difference. Think about times when you're super busy and you didn't have coffee and you ended up lasting the day. Did you like midday go, oh my God? No, you didn't. It's only when you think about it. So a lot of things we do is just based off routine. And it's going to take some time. And sometimes just doing it 2 days out of the week where you replace something. And I'm not saying take it out. I'm saying maybe replace it because I believe that habit is better than just taking things cold turkey. I mean, if you can, you're that type of person, then cold turkey the shit out of it, right? But if you're drinking soda every day, try drinking water for 3. Right? Try to not finish a whole 2 liter in a day. There's little things you can do little by little to help change the habit because that's all it is. It's a habit. I don't believe it's an addiction, even though addiction is probably a habit. But who the fuck am I? Going to what it says on the internet. Different ways to manage all of this stuff is monitoring, right? So definitely that's a great one. Get blood tests, right? Get your blood tests. See where you're at. I do it every year. Every year for my birthday, I go to the doctor. I get a full checkup where he touches my balls and he gives me the hernia. I don't know why I started with that, but he does everything. This really gives me a full body check, and then I'll get a script to go get blood work done. Because once a year, if not more now, because I take medication, whenever my psychiatrist wants me to get blood work done, I will always get it to see where my cholesterol's at. Where's my blood lipids? Where's everything? Because I'd like to know where I'm starting from. Just like if you want to lose weight, you got to weigh yourself, right? If you want to lose fat and shed fat, you got to do your body fat percentage. You can't just start eating and then not knowing a baseline. It's the same thing with your blood profile. It's like I need to know where I'm at. If I'm trying to fight heart disease, how can I do that properly? What if I have something that I don't know about? Well, then let me tackle that first, or a little harder than the rest. So knowing and monitoring where you are versus where you're going is super important. And even in terms of weight loss and exercise, like when I do like a squat or a bench, I want to know where my 1 RM is now, estimated. I'm not like pushing crazy, but I want to know like, oh, am I like a 225 bench presser for 1 rep? Well, if so, how do I manage that or work around the percentage of where that is, instead of just like throwing some weight on for no reason and just doing something? The more numbers you have and a little bit more monitoring you do, the better success rate you're going to have in anything you do. That's honest truth. Medication management. If you have medication, how do you manage that? For me, I was not very, very doing good on my lithium intake. I was definitely missing it, especially when I was drinking more. When I was bartending, I was drinking a lot more, which means I was scared to drink and take medication at the same time, which is definitely something you should not do. But of course, I was doing, right? So when I did end up going out or drinking, I would not take medication or just be like, I don't want to mix it, I don't mix it. And now my lithium levels have dropped very low. And that's why I saw myself falling more into depressive states for a longer time and really going to manic states for a longer time. I've noticed that trend, but it was really, I thought it was like me getting something else or a different symptom or a different side effect. No, it was just, I wasn't doing it right. I wasn't taking the medication on schedule. I wasn't following what my psychiatrist told me. I was just doing whatever I wanted, and that's a flaw. And I can admit to that I'm not perfect, but I did adjust it. And now my levels are back to where they are. I actually just got blood profile last week because they need to know where my lithium levels was, because lithium is very toxic. And the toxicity of lithium, whether it's too low or too high, can create a lot of other side effects inside my life. And that's what I want to manage. I don't want that to happen, or those drastic changes, because that can lead to death. Right? It's something else that people do not think about. Lifestyle interventions. Here, listen, I don't know what that means, but interventions aimed at promoting healthy lifestyles include diet, exercise, smoking, sensation, crucial. So a lot of people that are bipolar really have not great habits, right? We use other things to cope, like alcohol, smoking, drugs. That's another reason why our death rate is increased. Remember, death rate is subjective, right? Subjective death rate, but doesn't mean you're not included. If you are that person that smokes more, that drinks more, that just does more drugs, you have a higher percentage chance of disappearing in this world. And that's an honest truth. There's not a fucking commercial about it. It's true. Doing that is like walking on a plank over a building. You have a higher chance. So how do the reason they use intervention is, how do you stop that? How do you change that? That I can't help you with. That's another whole different world, right? That's where you do need counseling, a therapist, someone to help you manage that. I'm only helping you manage skills to help emotions, right? Based off what I do. Not even like I can't prescribe that to you. So if you feel like you're that person, try to find some professional help to wean off that, because at the end of the day, that's not going to help your journey to becoming better. Right? The one thing I can help you with is intervention of health and nutrition, making better choices in life, nutritionally and or physically and mentally. Right? Getting out there and doing stuff, moving, adding exercise, getting programs, changing your nutritional habits. That'll always help you feel better, always help you that's a lifestyle change, right? It's a lifestyle change. Integrated health. We already talked about that. And that's combining like mental health, professionally. I'll read it. Coordinating care between mental health professionals and primary care. So doctor meets doctor, and really coming up with a good plan for you to be better. I felt like today was very all over the place. That's 100%. Why? Because I don't really know much about the death rate and the risk factors and the what's the word there? I don't know shit about this. I was just very curious about why is it that people with bipolar have a higher percent of dying. And then I said, what is the average age that people with the bipolar die? And it fucking struck me that 67 is the age. 67. Which ain't old, no. It ain't fucking old. That ain't old. People think it's old. It's not fucking old. I'm 46 now, right? So I have 21 more years, apparently, until I'm gone. So I can either say, what can I do this next 21 years to make this the best 21 years of my life? I could do that. Or I could also say, how do I live to 100? Because I don't want just 21. Because my main goal is to raise those fucking kids in there. And make sure that, thumbs up, thanks. That they're gonna remember me for the rest of their life. That they'll remember me for the rest of my life and the rest of theirs, in a positive, in a good way. And I'm going to end on that. So thanks for coming out to the Mental Mobility Podcast, episode number 147. We appreciate you. If you have any questions, you have anything you want to add to this, please comment. Let us know. Comment down below, because it's very important just to know anything, because anything helps. All right. I do apologize if this podcast was everywhere, but I definitely know that it was an important topic to talk about today. So I'll see you guys later. Peace out.